Sumant Reddy. See in the list of the people, you just click on Sumant Reddy. Is the board visible? Okay. Those who are telling no, click on Sumant Reddy. In the people list,
Pin.
okay. So, good afternoon, students. Am I audible? Okay. So now I'll start with the class. Okay. So the thing is, so in the previous classes, we have started with the definitions. First of all, we have started with what is a proposition. So we have started with what is a proposition. So then I have started like telling what is a tautology, what is a contradiction, and I have told about the basic connectives, that is conjunction, disjunction, implication, biconditional, and negation, right? So based on that, we have solved the problems. Okay, so related to the truth table, so we have solved the problems related to tautology, contradiction, and also the logical equivalence, right? So, and the thing is, today I will just start with the laws of set theory. So before we solve the problems on laws of set theory, so you must be, remembering few laws. Okay, so few basic laws. I'll just write those laws. Okay, so the first one is commutative law. Okay, so the commutative law states that P or Q is same as Q or P. See, actually, most of this basic laws you will be already having the idea. Fine. So I'll just quickly write those things. So after the commutative law, we have one more law called associative law. Okay, which tells that P or Q or R is same as P or Q or R. Okay, so similarly with respect to the conjunction, we have P ampersand of Q ampersand R. This is same as P ampersand Q or ampersand R. Okay, so along with that we have distributive law. Okay, so distributive law states that if I have P or Q ampersand of R, this can be written as P or Q ampersand P or R. So similarly, if I have P ampersand of Q or R, this is same as P ampersand Q or P ampersand R. Okay. See, actually, this last, what you have to do is when you are solving the problem, each step, okay, you have to mention which law you have applied. Okay, so this is very much important. So just if you apply that law and if you keep the final answer, that won't be sufficient. The very important thing is after each and every step, how you go to the next step that you have to conclude. Okay, so what you have to do is you just have to mention that. Fine. So along with that, I just mention a few more laws. We have De Morgan's law. Okay, so this De Morgan's law states that negation of P or Q is logically equivalent to negation of P ampersand of negation of Q. So similarly, negation of P ampersand of Q, this is same as negation of P or negation of Q. Okay, so yeah, see, actually, the thing is, in exam, they won't ask you the proof of these laws. Okay, but the thing is, if you have any doubts, if you have any queries with regard to these laws, already I have told you the basic logical connectives. Okay, so what you can do is, you can just write the truth table for this, and you can check for LHS and RHS. Both you will get the same. Fine. Okay. And one more thing I am telling you. So from now onwards, till the complete of this module, so I will be repeatedly using all the set of formulas. Okay. So I suggest you. I told you right in the beginning itself. For this class, we have to take a book and pen. Okay. So what you have to do is whatever I tell you to note down, you have to note down. And the problems, if I ask you to solve, you should solve this. You should solve it. Okay. So now I just want you to make a note of this list of laws. Still, I have to add 3 more laws. Okay. So far I have given associative distributive equivalence law. So along with that, we have few more laws. We have absorption law. Okay. So this absorption law states that if I have P or of P ampersand Q, this is same as P. So similarly, if I have P ampersand of P or Q, this is same as P. Okay. See, usually the students, what they will do is they will get confused with the associative law, distributive law, and absorption law. Okay. So how to avoid that confusion, I will tell you later. Okay. So along with that, we have idempotent law. This idempotent law states that suppose if you have any proposition P, if you perform the OR operation with itself, so we will get the same proposition. Okay, so P or P is P itself. So similarly, same thing holds good even for the conjunction. P ampersand of P is same as P. Okay, so this is the idempotent law. So similarly, we have inverse law. See, all these laws, along with the rule, you have to remember the name. Okay, so if you don't mention which law you have applied, you won't get marks. Fine. So this inverse law states that if I have P ampersand of negation of P, see, actually, any proposition, if I perform the conjunction with its opposite, okay. See, even you can suppose what are the values that P takes? Either it can take 1 or it can take 0. Will you agree? So, what is the meaning of negation of P? Negation of P in the sense it is just opposite, right? So, if I have 1, what I will be having for negation of P? 0. If I have 0, what I will be having for negation of P? 1. Okay. And what is P ampersand of negation of P? Let me see. So, if you perform the conjunction, so 1 ampersand of 0, again it will be 0. 0 ampersand of 1, again it will be 0. Okay. So, whenever you perform the conjunction with its negation, always you will end up getting 0. And you already know that if you always get 0, what is the meaning of that? The meaning of that is it is contradiction. Similarly, if you always get true, what is the meaning of that? So the meaning of that is it is tautology. Okay. And the tautology is represented as T naught. Similarly, contradiction is represented as F naught. Okay, so based on this, so this P ampersand of negation of P will be always contradiction, right? So similarly, so P or negation of P. Okay, so when you perform the distinction with its opposite, always. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so I have P, I have negation of P. So P, suppose if it takes 1 and 0 as the values, its negation means it will be 0 and 1. So what will I get if I perform the distinction between a proposition and its negation? So 1 or 0, you know the rule for disjunction, right? The disjunction will be true even if a single proposition is true. Okay, so it will be false in only one case, that is both are false. In all the remaining cases, it will be true. Okay, so based on this, 1 or 0, it will be 1, 0 or 1, it is again 1. Okay, so based on this, if you see the final values, always it is true, which will conclude that this is a tautology. Okay, so P or negation of P is a tautology. Right? See, actually, you have to remember any proposition, if you perform the disjunction or conjunction with itself, so you will end up getting the same proposition. According to which law? Idempotent law. And inverse law states that if you perform the conjunction and disjunction with its negation, so you will end up getting contradiction and tautology. So this is based on inverse law. Okay. So already we have 7 laws. So 2 more important laws. So now even if I write here, it will be visible. Okay. So we have idempotent law, inverse law. So similarly, we have one more important law called as domination law. This is very important. So the domination law states that if I have a proposition, okay, and if I perform conjunction with something, again I will get the same thing. Okay, like just a minute. Suppose if I perform the conjunction with tautology. if I perform the disjunction with tautology, what I will get? See, actually, P is a proposition which will take the values 1 and 0. Tautology means always it is ones, okay? And if I perform the OR operation, what I will get? So 1 or 1, again it is 1, 0 or 1, again it is 1. So again I will get tautology. Okay, so this is the domination law. So similarly, if I have a proposition and if I perform the conjunction with contradiction, okay. So now what you are doing, I have a proposition P, and you already know that contradiction in the sense always you will be having zeros, right? So always you will be having zeros. Okay, so always you will be having zeros. If I perform P ampersand of contradiction, so 1 ampersand of 0, 0, 0 ampersand of 0, again 0. Okay. So irrespective of the proposition, whatever the proposition, if you perform the disjunction with tautology, always you will get a tautology. And if you perform the conjunction with contradiction, always you will get a contradiction. Okay, so this is according to the domination law. Okay, so and after this, you have one last law which is important, that is identity law. Fine. So this identity law states that suppose if you have a proposition P and if you perform the conjunction with the tautology, okay. So what will be the result? Any guess? If I have a proposition P and if I perform the conjunction with tautology, what will be the end result? Any guess? Will I get the, yes, exactly. So I get the same proposition, right? Because, so I will just write the truth table for you. P again it will take 1 or 0. Tautology means always it will be 1, right? And if I perform the conjunction, 1 ampersand of 1, again it is 1. 0 ampersand of 1, it is 0. If you see, this P and P ampersand Q both are, P ampersand of P naught, both are same, right? So since both are same, I can write P ampersand of tautology is same as P. Similarly, if I have a proposition P, if I perform OR operation with a contradiction, again you can check with the truth table, again you will get back P only, right? See, I have listed 9 laws. If I have forgotten any law, I don't know. Okay, so when we solve the problems, we will get to know. See, all these formulas, along with the name, you have to remember. Only if you remember this, then you can solve. Not only for this topic. Okay, so next we have a topic called rules of inference. Again, I will be using the same set of formulas. And after this, in the same module for the second chapter, that is mathematical logic 2. Okay, so there we will be studying about the open statements. So there also we will be using these formulas. In simple words, if you don't know this formula, this set of formulas, we cannot solve any problem in the module 1 other than those truth table problems. So you cannot solve any problems further, right? So you have to remember all these 9 formulas. Along with these formulas, 2 important things you have to remember. Okay, so one is, so in the previous class, I have taught you about the conditional. Suppose if you have a conditional P implies Q, its converse is Q implies P, and its inverse is negation of P implies negation of Q, and its contrapositive is negation of Q implies negation of P. I told you, right? So on the same day when I have told you about that, I have written the truth table also, and I have showed you. Suppose for a proposition P implies Q, whatever the values you get, same values you will get even for negation of Q implies and negation of P. I have showed you in the table, right? And I told you to make a note of that. Okay, so whenever I have a conditional P implies Q, this will be same as its contrapositive. Okay, so what I mean is this formula is important. Whenever I have P implies Q, I can also write negation of Q implies negation of P. Why? Because both are same, both are logical equivalent. If you have any doubt in that, you can write the truth table and you can check. You get the same set of truth values. Fine. Okay, and along with that, one important formula is there. Okay, this also you have to remember. Whenever I have P implies Q, I can also write the same thing as negation of P or Q. Or I have one more formula, P ampersand of negation of Q. So it's your wish, you can use any formula. See, this one you have to remember. If you have any doubts in this, you just again, as I have told you, you can write the truth table and you can check. See, this 9 laws, along with that, these 2 formulas, very, very important. If you remember all this, trust me, you can solve any problem. With a bit of practice, definitely different questions. Okay, so I will not solve each and every problem, but in every type I will just pick one problem and I will solve it. Okay, and especially previous year exam problems, I will solve all the problems. Okay, so now I suggest you you have to note down. You have to note down all these laws. Along with that, you have to note down these 2 formulas. Okay, so while writing, you just try to memorize even this name. Okay, so after this, we will be solving the problem. I'll give you some 5 minutes time. So in the meanwhile, you have to copy all these laws along with the formulas. Fine? Okay. And actually, I told you, right, when we solve the problems, actually, students usually they will get confused with the absorption law, distributive law, and associative law. So when we have to apply which law, actually, students usually they will get confused. So for that, I'll just give you one small trick. Okay. So I'll give you one trick. So before that, so you please make a note of all these laws. I'll just give you some 5 minutes. Fine. Sir, can you repeat fifth one? So the fifth one is absorption law. See, actually, this absorption law tells that when I have a proposition P, if I perform the disjunction with P ampersand of Q, whatever the truth values I get, it will be same as the P itself. See, actually, okay, what I will do is only this absorption law and distributive law. At the end of this class, I'll just write the truth table for you. Okay, so then you will understand better. So now, don't worry about anything. Just make a note of all these laws. You take one paper and pen and just write down all these laws and along with these two formulas. Okay, so just do that. After that, I'll solve the problems. Fine. Yes, the screen is blurred. The thing is, there might be some network issue. Okay, so after some time again it will get adjusted. Okay, don't worry. And anyhow, already I have explained you. Even the screen is blurred. Okay, since I have already explained you, so you should be able to note down. Okay, fine. So just copy those formulas. I'll give you 5 minutes time. And students, actually, the thing is, we are trying to put our best effort to teach you. So please don't put any unwanted messages in this chat screen. It will definitely demotivate the faculty. Okay. See, actually, simply I would have just copied the one notes and I would have explained to you that. Okay. But whatever we are doing that, because we already know that definitely you will start feeling boring. Okay. When I actually the theory subjects is fine. Even the problems, if I try to teach you with the notes directly, definitely it will get bored for you. So to avoid that, we are trying to put some effort. Okay. So initially so okay, we will be having some hiccups because of the network issue and all. But whatever I tell you, you just do that. Okay, don't put any unwanted messages in the chart screen. I just want you to copy all these formulas first. When we solve the problems, anyhow, I will rub all these formulas now. When we solve the problem, in each step, I will ask you itself. You should only tell which will be the appropriate law. See, actually, when we are solving the problem, all these problems, it will be like LHS is equal to, we have to prove LHS is equal to RHS. When we are solving that in a single stage, we will be having an option for multiple formulas. Okay, so we will be for the same step, we will be able to apply commutative law, we will be able to apply some other De Morgan's law. Okay, so which law we have to apply? For that, just always we will be having a look, we should be having a look at RHS. Depending upon the required result, so we should be applying the appropriate formula. Okay, so how we will get to know that? We will get to know that only by practicing it. Okay, so you just have to make a note of all these formulas. In the meanwhile, when we are solving the problem, I will ask you which will be the relevant formula that I have to apply. Fine. Still the screen is a little bit blurred. I think it's network issue. Okay, so now it is good, right? Now the screen is clearly visible. If you are okay with this method, I will follow the same method. Otherwise, actually, I have one more idea. What I can do is I can just put one paper and I will solve the problems in the pen. I will use one phone stand and I will record everything. And in the class, I will just play the same video. That technique also I can use. Okay. Okay. If you are okay with this method, okay, I will use the same method. If you have any problems in this, you just tell me. I will use that second plan. Both are fine for me. Okay, I will use the same method. Okay, Jahnavi is telling I can't see anything. See, actually here I can see that even the blurriness has already gone. Anything we have to note down, send a PDF. I just want to ask you, don't you have textbook actually? No one have textbook, right? Okay. Okay, you don't have textbook. Okay, fine. Okay, I will just do like that only. I will just try to share the PDF. Okay. Whatever the important things that you have to note down, I'll just send it in the PDF. Okay. So now anyhow, now it is visible, right? So you can see all the formulas. No, video is not off. What you have to do is you just have to click on the Sumant Reddy. In the people list, you just click on the Sumant Reddy. You can see that. Okay. So can I start with the problems? Still you're copying the. Okay. Okay. So before, okay, just a minute. Okay. 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 Fine. You can copy. Okay, fine. So you keep copying these formulas. Meanwhile, I just want to tell you one important thing. See, actually, when it comes to three propositions, actually, when you see all these laws, everywhere you have only two propositions. Okay, every law deals with only two propositions. Like, for example, inverse law, P and the negation of P. And you can see the identity law, P ampersand of tautology, and De Morgan's law, P or Q. Like that, you have two propositions. Okay. But if you observe this associative law, distributive law, and absorption law, so there we have three propositions. Okay, so students usually they will get confused which law to apply. Am I audible? Okay, so usually the students they will get confused which law to apply. So the trick is very simple. Okay, so when you have all the basic characteristics same, see actually here what we have is P or Q or. Similarly, what we have here P ampersand of Q ampersand of or. Okay, so here both the symbols are ampersand. So here both the symbols are disjunction. When all the symbols are same, go with associative law. That's all. Okay, so when we have three propositions and symbols are same, go with associative law. Don't get confused. And when the symbols are different, again there will be a confusion for you whether to apply the distributive law or to apply the absorption law. Okay, the trick is very simple. When out of these three propositions, if two are same, see if you see this P or of P ampersand of Q. Okay, so here P has been repeated, right? So when the proposition is repeated and the symbols are different, go with the absorption law. When the propositions are not repeated and the symbols are different, go with the distributive law. See here, if you observe what we have here is P or of Q ampersand of or, right? So here what we have is P ampersand of Q or. When the symbols are different and the propositions are different, so you have to go with distributive law. See, actually, most of the students you might feel that whatever I'm telling here is a little bit silly, but the simple trick, if you remember, while solving the problem, there won't be any confusion for you. Okay, so what I have told is very much simple. When I have three propositions and all the symbols are same, go with the associative law. But when I have three propositions and the symbols are different, so if one proposition is repeated, go with the absorption law. If all the propositions are different and the symbols are also different, then go with the distributive law. Fine. So when we solve the problems, so you'll only get to know. Fine. So I just rub this. From now onwards, I will ask you only what is the law that I have to apply. Okay. Fine. Okay. And one more thing. Actually, before we solve this problems, actually, I just want to tell you one important thing. That is the principle of duality. Okay, this is very much important. Principle of duality. And before I tell what is this principle of duality, first of all, I have to tell you what is a dual. What is a dual of proposition? See, actually, in the previous classes, I told you different logical connections. Okay, like negation, conjunction, disjunction, conditional, biconditional, right? So out of this, I'm audible, right? Okay, students, can you give me some 5 minutes? Actually, ma'am is calling. I'll just be back. Okay, give me 5 minutes time. So in the meanwhile, don't text anything in the chat box. Okay, so I'll be back. Just give me some 5 minutes. I'll be back. Fine. Thank you, students. Thanks a lot for your patience. Honda forever. See, if you put these kind of messages, just like Black Panther, even you will. Okay, so leave it. So anyhow, I'm audible, right? Am I audible? Okay. So I just want to teach you what is a dual of a proposition. Okay. So if you have a compound proposition, like for example, P or Q ampersand of R. Okay. So this is one compound proposition. Okay. So let me name this proposition as capital letter P. Okay. So assume these are all small letters. Okay. P or Q ampersand of R. Okay. This same proposition I have given the name as P. If I have to find the dual of this proposition, okay, so it is represented as P, and we have to write D. On the top of that, we have to write the D. Okay, so that is the symbol for dual of a proposition. Okay, so the rule is very simple. So what you have to do is you have to just replace conjunction with the disjunction with the conjunction. Similarly, if you have a tautology, you have to change it to contradiction. So similarly, if we have contradiction, change it to tautology. Other than that, remaining symbols you should not touch. I'll repeat. Just you have to replace conjunction to disjunction, vice versa. Tautology to contradiction, vice versa. That's all. Okay. So other than that, this conditional, negation, those symbols you should not touch. In fact, this conditional, biconditional, these are not basic connectives. Okay. Only this conjunction, disjunction, and negation, these are the basic connectives. Okay. So they are not basic. When you have the complicated connectives like conditional, biconditional, you have to simplify that. So now, if you ask me, sir, how can we simplify that? For that, just you have to use the formulas. Okay. So along with the list of 9 or 10 laws, whatever I have given you two important formulas, right? One is the conditional is same as its contrapositive. That's the first thing. And the second thing is P implies Q is equal to negation of P or Q. I told you just have to make a note of that. Whenever you have a symbol conditional, you just have to simplify that. How will you simplify? As I have told you, just you have to use this formula. That is P implies Q is same as negation of P or Q. Or you can use P ampersand of negation of Q. It's your wish. Okay. So after simplifying that, if you see the RHS, again we have only basic connective, that is disjunction. So after that, easily you can find the dual of that, right? Okay. So in this previous example, whatever I have taken, so if I have to find the dual of this, how can I solve this? P, just the disjunction has to be replaced with conjunction, P ampersand of Q. Again, the conjunction has to be replaced with disjunction R. Okay, so this is the dual of this one. Okay, so similarly, I'll take one more example. Say for example, I have a compound proposition P implies of Q ampersand of R. Okay, so now if you ask me to write the dual of this, directly I cannot find the dual of this because this compound proposition does not have only simple connectives. Along with the simple connective conjunction, it also has conditional. That should not happen. First of all, I have to simplify this. How to simplify this? We already know the formula, right? See, this is in the form of P implies Q. So this is in the form of P implies Q, which is same as negation of P or Q. Do you agree? But in place of Q, what we have here, in place of Q, what I have is Q ampersand of R. So this can be written as this compound proposition. Now this can be written as negation of P or Q ampersand of R. Okay. So I think because of the lighting, this portion is not properly visible. What I will do is I just write down here. Okay. So this can be written as negation of P or Q ampersand of R. Okay. So now after simplifying this above formula, above compound proposition, now this simplified form, it has only basic connectives. Now if you see it has only basic connectives, so now easily you can find the dual of this. So how can you write the dual of this? I told you don't touch negation and conditional. See, when you are writing the dual, most of the students what they will do is they will, if I have a negation of P, they will write P. No, I told you only two rules. One is change the conjunction to disjunction, vice versa, and tautology to contradiction, vice versa. That's all. Okay, don't touch the negation. If I have negation of P, write the same thing. I have the disjunction here, write conjunction. Okay, next Q, I have the conjunction here, replace that with the disjunction R. Okay, so now this is the compound proposition and its dual is this one. Okay, so now you got an idea how to find the dual of the proposition. Okay, so we have solved only two problems, but now you have some basic idea that if I have a compound proposition, how to find the dual of that you have understood. Okay, so when we solve more problems on that, you will understand better. But now you know how to find the dual of the proposition now. Now I will explain you what is the principle of duality. The principle of duality states that suppose if you have two compound propositions, okay, the first compound proposition I just write as capital P, and the second compound proposition I will write as capital Q. Okay, so these are the two compound propositions. Okay, and I will just tell you that they are logically equivalent. Okay, now the principle of duality states that if in case P is logically equivalent to Q, then their duals are also logically equivalent. Now tell me, if P is a compound proposition, what is the dual of that? The dual is represented as P with capital D at the top. So similarly, the dual of Q is Q capital D at the top. They are also logically equivalent. Fine. If P is logically equivalent to Q, then their duals are also logically equivalent. So that is the principle of duality. In the exam, rarely they will ask you the definition of duality, but they have asked in some of the question papers. They have asked what is the dual of a proposition, what is the principle of duality. They have asked, but rather than definition, the important thing is when you are solving the problem. Okay, when we are solving the problem, this is very important. Okay, see, most of the students they will be fairly having an idea about all the laws of the logic. They would have solved all the problems, but when they go to the exam, in the question paper, what they will do is, so they will just look at the question at the bottom. Okay, like for example, prove that this compound proposition is logically equivalent to this RHS, like that they will give. Okay, but they won't read the entire question. At the top of that, they will ask you to verify the principle of duality. In that case, you should not prove LHS is equal to RHS. Rather, first of all, you have to find the dual of the LHS. You have to find the dual of the RHS. Whatever the results that you get, that you have to prove LHS is logically equivalent to RHS. Okay, this is very important. And if you don't know how to find the dual only, then even if you know the procedure to solve the problems or using the laws of logic, and even if you know all these laws, so you will end up getting zero. Fine. So that is the reason. First of all, you should be knowing how to find the dual of a proposition. Okay. So finally, my conclusion is: suppose if you have two compound propositions, in order to find the duals of that, just you have to replace conjunction with disjunction, disjunction with conjunction, and then tautology with contradiction, contradiction with tautology. So similarly, the principle of duality states that if some compound proposition is logically equivalent, if compound proposition P is logically equivalent to Q, then its duals are also logically equivalent. Okay. So now with this, I'll start with the problems. Okay. So I'll just start with simple problem. Okay. So he has given one compound proposition, and we need to find the dual of that. Okay. So in the examination, if they ask you to just write the dual of the proposition, so they will ask for 2 to 3 marks. Okay. So yeah, out of every 3 to 4 question papers, one time they will ask this kind of questions. Okay. So this is one of the exam problem. What he has given is you need to find the dual of P or P naught ampersand Q ampersand of F naught or ampersand of S ampersand of T naught. This is one of the exam problem. So now what he is asking you is he is just asking you to find the dual of this. Okay, so the problem is very simple, right? So easily you can get 2 marks also. Sometimes they have asked even for 3 marks also. Okay, so you already know the rule to find the dual of this. What I need to do is P, in place of disjunction, I have to write conjunction. I told you in place of tautology, I need to write contradiction. And again, I have conjunction here, replace this with disjunction. Next, Q, I have conjunction here, replace with disjunction. I have contradiction here, F naught, replace that with the tautology. And then I have disjunction here, replace that with conjunction. And then or S or contradiction. Very simple, right? So this kind of questions they might ask. If they ask you, it will be for 2 to 3 months. Okay. So any doubt in this dual? Finding the dual. Do you have any doubt in that? Do you have any doubt in finding the dual? Okay. So now you are clear with this. Fine. Okay. Okay. So for your better understanding, I'll just take one more problem. Say for example, if I have P implies of Q implies R. How can I find the dual of this? So you just try to solve this and post the answer in the comment section. You just try to find the dual of this. Try to find the dual of that and put the answer in the comment section. See, for conjunction, you can just use the power symbol. In the keyboard, you will be having one symbol like this. You can use the same symbol. Those who are having the mobile phones, if you can't answer, it's okay, ignore. Those who are using the laptop, if you could answer, just send me the answer. What is the dual of this? What is the dual of this compound proposition? Solve it and try to post the answer in the comment section. Okay. So good. See, very good. The thing is, you already got an idea. So directly, I cannot find the dual of this. Correct, right? So now, directly, I cannot find the dual of this. First of all, I have to simplify this so that the compound proposition has only basic connectives like conjunction, disjunction, and negation. Right? So for simplifying this, you already know I have one formula that is P implies Q. This is same as negation of P or Q. Fine. So using this formula, so now I will try to solve this. So again, now if you observe this, I have two conditional here, right? So now if you see this P implies of this entire thing, I will take it as Q. So this can be written as negation of P, or in place of Q, what I have, Q implies of R. So this is one step. But now still I cannot find the dual of this because this compound proposition does not have only the basic connectives. Along with that, it has a conditional. So again, I need to simplify this. That is very important. In exam, when they ask you to find the dual, directly don't change conjunction and disjunction, tell the answer. Okay, so before that, you just have to remove the complex connectives. Okay, so now if you observe this again, this can be written as negation of P, or again, this is in the form of P plus Q, that will be equal to negation of P or Q. So this can be written as negation of Q or R. So now this is the simplified form. So now easily you can find the dual of this. So the dual of this will be equal to negation of P ampersand of negation of Q ampersand of R. So this is the dual of this compound proposition. Okay. So most of you have solved this. See, actually, in subject like this, okay, in subject like this DMS, always whatever the end answer you get, don't think this is the only correct answer. This might be correct answer, but that is not the only correct answer. Okay, because this P implies Q is not only logically equivalent to negation of P or Q. This is also logically equivalent to P ampersand of negation of Q. I told you, right, in every step, you will be able to apply more than one formula, more than one type of formula. Okay, so when you apply different type of formulas, you will get different end results. But everything is both are correct. Okay, no issues. So this is also correct answer. But if you apply a different formula, again you might get a different answer. No issues. Fine. So now you got an idea how to find the dual of a proposition, right? So now I'll start with one simple problem. Okay, if I have a proposition P or P ampersand of P or Q, this is same as P. Okay. So in exam, again, I have already told you, if in case if he does not tell anything, how to LHS is equal to RHS, by default, either you can solve the problem using the truth table, or you can use the laws of logic, it is left to you. But if he specifies using the laws of set theory, then you have to use the laws of set theory only to solve this. Okay. So again, I told you after each and every step, how you are going to the next step that you have to mention. That is, you have to mention which law you have applied. If you don't mention which law you have applied, trust me, I had been to valuation, you won't get any marks. Because I told you right, in scheme for valuators, what they will do is they will give one scheme. In that scheme, what they will mention, no. See, actually, for this kind of problems, already you know the answer. What you need to prove is LHS is equal to RHS. You will do some steps. Finally, directly you can put P at the end. If you do like that, don't think you get marks. Okay. What the examiner he will be looking at is he will be looking at the list of the laws that you have applied, and he will be having only those things. Fine. So in that scheme, he will be having for this problem, the student have to use these set of laws. Okay. So depending upon that, if you have mentioned those laws, you will get marks. Otherwise, you won't get marks. Okay. So now, for this problem, I have to prove LHS is equal to RHS. So I will take the LHS, okay? P or P ampersand of P or Q. See, actually, students. So initially, it might be a little bit slow for you. Okay. So while solving this problem, which law you have to apply? Initially, it will be slow for you. But if you solve problems and whatever the tricks I have told you, simple, silly tricks. It might be silly tricks, but if you remember those tricks properly, easily you can solve. What I told. If you have three propositions, two symbols, and if the symbols are same, go with the associative law. If the symbols are different, again you will be having a confusion either to apply the absorption law or distribution law. Absorption law, if two propositions are same, you can use the absorption law. Distribution law, if the symbols are different and if the propositions are different, then you have to go with the distribution law. Fine. If you know these simple things, then you can solve any problem. And along with that, usually the students they will get confused with four laws. That is idempotent law, inverse law, domination law, identity law. Okay. So I for that also I will tell you one simple trick. Okay. You remember only one law, that is idempotent law. Okay. Idempotent law states that P or P ampersand of P, it will give you the same thing, that is P itself. Okay. And there is one more law which will again deal with the same proposition, but it's negation. Okay. So in the idempotent law, what you have taken is P ampersand of P, P or P. So instead of that, if you take P ampersand of negation of P or negation of P, what you will get, of course, you will be knowing. So for this kind of law, what you need to use is inverse law. Okay. And again, there are only two laws which will deal with the tautology and contradiction. That is domination law and the identity law. Okay. So if you remember in this way, easily you can remember all the laws. Of course, the basic laws like commutative law, associative law, and De Morgan's law, distributive law, easily you can remember. Fine. But as I had told you, this idempotent law, inverse law, identity law, and domination law, this will be a little bit confused. But you just have to sit and you just have to think about some simple trick where you can memorize that. And there is no other way. Definitely, you have to memorize all these formulas because not only for this topic, for all the topics after this one, we will be repeatedly using these set of formulas. Fine. So all the formulas they have to be in your mind. You have to memorize that. There is no other way. Fine. Okay. So now, if you observe this, I told you in each and every step, always you should be having a look at the RHS. Okay. So you should be solving it depending upon the answer that is there in the RHS. Just don't blindly apply the laws. Okay. So whichever the law that you apply, you should be always in a way to the RHS. Always you should be getting the RHS. Like that, you have to apply the appropriate law. Fine. So now, if you observe this, okay. So if you observe this, can you suggest me which law will be appropriate? Which law will be appropriate now? Can you suggest me? Exactly. So one student has sent absorption law. See, I told you right. Just if you remember that trick, instead of scratching your head, simply you can apply that law. See here, actually, we have three propositions. If you observe this, we have three propositions, and the symbols are different. When the symbols are different, you have to go with either distributive law or absorption law. But here the propositions are same. The proposition has been repeated. If it is repeated, then you have to go with the absorption law, right? So the absorption law tells that P ampersand of P or Q is same as P. Exactly right. So now this can be written as P. How you got this? That you need to mention. You just have to write like this because of absorption law. If you don't mention this, you won't get any marks. This is very much important, right? So after this, what is P or P? That is equal to P itself. That is by which law? Idempotent law, right? Like this, different problems initially, if you analyze and solve, see actually in this DMS actually in our college exactly what they will do is they will give the assignments. Okay, most of the students what they will do is just they will solve the problems in the assignments, and they will think same problems they will get in the exam. It will never happen. See actually in especially a subject like this, what I can tell you is I can teach you the methodology. Okay, so of course you will be solving all the worked examples in the textbook. You will be solving the previous year exam problems. But just if you solve more problems, don't think you will be solving any problem. See what the thing is, you have to analyze and solve. Even if you solve some 10 problems also, okay, so try to pick the different problems, okay, different types of problems and analyze the problem. When you are solving, try to analyze that. If you analyze and solve, trust me, you can solve any problem in the exam. Fine. So now you got an idea, right? Okay, so similarly, I'll give you one more question. Let me see how many of you will solve this. Again, I'll take a simple problem. P or Q ampersand of P or negation of Q or Q. This is logically equivalent to P or Q. I cannot ask you to post the answer for this because already you will be knowing the answer. The answer is RHS. Okay, so I'll just give you some 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, try to solve this. Analyze and solve it. Fine. I want everyone to solve this problem. Don't put any messages in this chat box. Fine. Solve the problem. Okay. Students, I think you have already, so most of you I think already have solved, right? Can you just list me the list of, if you have solved, can you just list me the list of laws that you have applied for this problem? Okay. See, I told you, right? Always some students would have applied different law, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So always there will be more than one method to solve the problem. Okay. Distributive law, inverse law. So let us check. I told you right, for solving any problem, there will be more than one method, no issues. Fine. Okay, so for this problem, if you observe, see the RHS that is required for me is P or Q. Okay, and if you analyze, there is no negation in this. Somehow I should be able to remove this negation of Q. Okay, so if you think in this way, and actually I should have already told you one important thing with regard to the distributive law. See, this is actually you have to remember this. Only for the distributive law, you should be able to apply from applying the forward direction and also reverse direction. Okay, I'll repeat. What is the distributive law? Distributive law tells that if I have P ampersand of Q or R, this is same as P ampersand of Q or P ampersand of R. Okay, so you should not always look this problem in the forward direction. Suppose if you have this RHS, if you take the P common in this, you can also write in this way. Okay, only for the distributive law, you should be able to apply that in the forward direction and also the backward direction. Okay, so now depending on this, if you observe in here, what I have here is P or Q ampersand of P or negation of Q. And in this both the sets, what I have here is P is common. Okay, don't you think that if P is common, I can take it as a common? Okay, so now if I just remove this P, this can be written as P or Q ampersand of negation of Q. Okay, so again, if you apply the distributive law, again you will get back the same thing. Like for example, so if you observe this is P or Q ampersand of P or negation of Q. Again, if you expand this, again you will get the same thing. Okay, so this RQ I will write as it is. So which is the law that I have applied? The law that I have applied is distributive law. Fine. So now I have applied the distributive law. So now again, if you observe, which law I can apply here? So this is in the form of P or what is Q ampersand of negation of Q? That is by inverse law. I told you right, idempotent law means P ampersand of P itself. Inverse law means P ampersand of negation of P or negation of P. Okay, so if you apply the inverse law here, what is Q ampersand of negation of Q? It will be always contradiction. Okay, so the law that I have applied here is inverse law. Fine. So after this, what is P or contradiction? P or F naught will always lead to P itself. That is by which law? Identity law. Identity law tells that if you perform OR with contradiction, you will get the same thing. I told you, you just have to note down all the laws in the beginning itself. Okay, so if you have not done that, maybe in the next class or okay, so maybe in the next class I'll just share the slide. Okay, so you can just make a note of all the laws. Anyhow, you are telling you don't have textbook also. Okay, so P or F naught is again equal to P itself. Okay, so this RQ I will write as it is. Which law I have applied? Identity law. Very simple. So that is the required result, P or Q. Fine. I think now you have already got an idea how to solve these kind of problems. So today we have time. So let us solve more problems. So similar to this, I will give one more problem. So I'll just write a question here. Negation of P or negation of P ampersand of Q. This is logical equivalent to negation of P ampersand of negation of Q. Okay, students, same thing. I'll just give you some 2 to 3 minutes. Try to solve this. See, if I keep solving only these kind of problems, definitely I told you you'll get bored. So for that reason, what I will do is tomorrow I'll just start with a new module, that is module number 3, relations and functions. Okay, so I have already told you about this. So Tuesday I'll be teaching you module number 1, whereas Wednesday I'll start with module 3. Okay, so Thursday I might pick anything, and Friday will be the discussion session. Whatever the topics that we have solved, based on the topics, so how the questions have been appeared in the previous year exam question papers, so that we will be discussing. So it will give you a lot of confidence if we do that, right? Okay, students. So most of you have already listed the list of laws that you have read. Fine. So actually, if you look at this problem, the very first law that you have to apply is, so we have written distributive law, identity law, De Morgan's law. Okay, that is correct. But the thing is, the first law that you have to apply is the De Morgan's law, right? Because so if you see here, for this entire compound proposition, we have negation here. Okay. So initially, if we have the negation, there is only one law which deals with that. That is the De Morgan's law. So De Morgan's law states that if I have negation of P ampersand of Q, this is same as negation of P or negation of Q. Similarly, if I have negation of P or Q, this is same as negation of P ampersand of negation of Q. So based on this, if you observe this, I have negation of P, or you just consider this entire thing as Q itself, right? So now if you apply the De Morgan's law for this can be written as negation of P ampersand of negation of this entire thing, that is negation of P ampersand of Q. So this is by which law? This is by De Morgan's law. Fine. And now if you observe, what I can do is, again I can apply the De Morgan's law here, right? So again I can apply the De Morgan's law. So if you apply the De Morgan's law again, this can be written as, just right here. Okay, so negation of P ampersand of, so negation. So it will be negation of negation P. This ampersand will become disjunction negation of Q. Okay, when you are applying the De Morgan's law, don't forget to change the symbol, right? Because when you apply the negation, this disjunction will become conjunction and conjunction will become disjunction. Okay, so that you should not forget, right? So this can be written as, so again I have applied the De Morgan's law. After this, I have negation of P ampersand of negation P. Okay, in the list of laws, whatever I have given you, I have not mentioned that. So that law is law of double negation. Okay, so the law of double negation states that if I have negation of negation P, I can just cancel that. So this will be same as P itself. Okay, so negation of negation P is same as P. So this will be or negation Q, right? So this is by law of double negation. Okay, just make a note of just make a note of this law in the list of laws, whatever I have given. You just copy even this one. This is called as law of double negation, which states that negation of negation P is P itself, right? Okay, so again, if you see this, okay, so here the symbols are different and the propositions are also different. Okay, don't think negation of P and P are same. No, they are different. So when the symbols are different and the proportions are different, next you have to do is just apply the distributive law. Okay, so if you apply the distributive law, what will happen? Negation of P ampersand of P, or negation of P ampersand of negation of Q, right? So this is by distributive law. Fine. So after this, what is P ampersand of negation of P? P ampersand of negation of P will be equal to contradiction. That is by which law? Inverse law. Okay, don't get confused. If you do P ampersand of P, idempotent law. P ampersand of negation of P, that is inverse law. Okay, so that is equal to contradiction itself. Okay, or so this I will write as it is. So what I have applied here is inverse law, right? And any proposition, if you perform the disjunction with contradiction, what will happen? You will get back the same proposition. That is by which law? That is by identity law. Okay. So initially for the few problems, always just keep looking at the list of laws that you have. Okay. So that will help you a lot. Once you memorize all the laws, then it will be easy for you. Fine. So any proposition, if you perform the disjunction with contradiction, you will get back the same proposition. That is by which law? Identity law. So from the identity law, you can write like negation of P ampersand of negation of Q is the answer. And now if you observe, that is what is the expected result. Okay. So just write that is equal to RHS, or you can just conclude like hence the result. Okay. So like that you just put one conclusion. Fine. Okay. So those who have any doubts in this one, try to analyze this. Okay. And copy it. See, you are telling that you don't have even textbook, right? So please try to copy this. Okay, Anaga, you are asking one doubt. What is this? Sir, can't we solve the inside bracket part first using the distributive law, then identity, and then apply the demand? See, actually, I told you, right? If you don't break any rules, you can solve it using different methods. You can apply any method, but the thing is, you should not break any rule. Okay. You just try that if you are getting the final result RHS, if you are getting the correct answer, then it is fine. Okay, so there is no one particular path to get the result. Okay, so there are multiple paths. If you are getting the final answer and if you have not broken any rules, then it is fine. Are you getting the final answer if you do that, Anaga? If you are getting the final answer properly, then it is fine. Yeah, then it is correct, no issues. Always, I told you, right? Always don't try to by heart the problem. Okay, so don't think that, even if you, in the textbook, if you see this solution, you have to always solve in the same way. No. My suggestion is, first step, memorize all the formulas. Memorize all the formulas. There is no shortcut for that. You have to memorize that. And initially, for a few times, actually, it might go wrong. Try to solve it using your own method. Okay, don't try to follow any textbook or notes method. Okay, try to solve it. Even if it takes more steps, also no issues. Okay, so try to have your own logic. You will be having every person. You will be having a different idea. Okay, so based on that, try to solve it. Okay, so today I'll just take one more problem. So today this is the last problem. So today I will not take any complex problems. I will just try to take only simple problems. If you solve these problems correctly, then you will get confidence. So that if you take complicated problems, so I take one more small problem. P implies of Q implies R. This is same as P ampersand Q implies R. This is very simple problem, but the thing is, it is little bit tricky. But you have to always remember, the thing is, when I have given you the list of laws, I have given you two more formulas. Okay, among which the second one I told you, whenever you have conditional like P implies Q, you can write it as negation of P or Q. Okay, so based on that, in the exam, actually, when you see this symbol conditional, always first you have to remember that formula. Okay. So now, so I have given you the hint. Using that formula, try to solve this. You will get the RHS. So let me see how many of you will solve. Fine. Okay, I can't see how many will solve. It's okay. So please try to solve it. I'll give 5 minutes. P implies of, Q implies or is same as P ampersand Q of implies or. If the board is blur for you, I'm just reading the problem. P implies of, Q implies or is same as P ampersand Q of implies or. Try to solve it. Okay, students, actually, tomorrow's class, tomorrow actually I have first 2 hours class for you. But the thing is, Shilpa ma'am, she will take the first 2 hours. So my class will be at 11:30. Tomorrow DMS class will be at 11:30. Only tomorrow. Okay, so only tomorrow my class will be postponed to 11:30. And that is only for A section. Okay, from USA number 1 to 90. Okay. Okay, students, are you able to solve it? No issues, right? Even if you don't get the proper solution also, don't worry. With a bit of practice, definitely you could able to solve it. Okay. But whatever the rules that I have told you, using the same rules you just observe, I'll be able to solve this. The first thing I told you, whenever I have a conditional, I have to just use the basic formula which I have already given you. That is, when I have P implies Q, I can just write it as negation of P or Q. This already I have told you. Okay. So I will just do the same thing. This is in the form of P implies of Q. Okay. This conditional is for the entire bracket. Okay. So first you have to apply the rule for this one, not this one. Okay. So this can be written as negation of P, or in place of Q what you have, Q implies R. Okay. So this is for this formula actually we don't have any name. Okay. We don't have any name. So in the exam what you have to tell is because P implies Q is same as negation of P or Q. So like this directly you can write the formula. No issues. Okay. So now if you observe, again I can apply the same formula, that is conditional law here. Again, if you apply the conditional law, this can be written as negation of P or negation of Q or R. Okay, so again, by the same formula, that is P implies Q, is same as negation of P or Q. Right? So after this, you only tell me. Already I have told you when I have three propositions. So here I have three propositions, and the symbols are same. When the symbols are same, what you need to do is just you have to apply the associative law that I have already told you, right? Okay, so just you have to apply the associative law. So if I apply the associative law, what is associative law? Associative law is just the interchanging of the parentheses, right? And I told you always you should be having a look at the RHS. Okay, so what is the RHS telling you? RHS is telling you that P and Q has to be grouped together. Okay, so here actually Q and R are grouped together. So somehow I should just change the parentheses. Changing the parentheses in the sense that is just an associative law, right? So now this can be written as, so here writing is there, I'll just write here. So this can be written as negation of P or negation of Q or R. I have not done any changes, just I have changed the parentheses. Changing the parentheses is associative law. Fine. So after this, the expected result has conditional. But what I have here is disjunction. But we already know the formula. That is, if I have negation of P or Q, this can be written as P implies Q. Right? So here, do I have negation here? Still I don't have negation. But I can take the negation common here. So if you observe here also I have negation of P, here I have negation, right? So if you take the negation common, what will happen? This will become P and the symbol will get changed. The symbol will get changed. So this will become Q or R. This is by which law? This is by De Morgan's law, right? So again, if you want to check, you can check here. So this negation of P ampersand Q. Again, if you expand this, what will happen? Negation of P or negation of Q. Again, if you apply the De Morgan's law in the forward direction, you will get back the same thing. No issues, right? So now, if you observe this is in the form of negation of P or Q, which is same as P implies Q. Same formula, right? So in place of P, what you have? In place of P, what you have here is P ampersand of Q. In place of Q, what you have? You have R. Okay. So now, don't you think this can be written as P ampersand of Q implies R? Correct, right? This is again because of the same formula, that is P implies Q is same as negation of P or Q, right? Okay, I don't know how many of you could able to solve this, but don't worry. This type of problem first time you are seeing, so that's why you might have not solved it. But don't worry. So if you solve 2-3 problems of this kind, definitely you can solve it. You definitely can solve it. Okay, so no need to worry. But I told you, right, the list of the laws, how you have to analyze. While applying each and every law, always you should be having a look at the RHS. Okay, so that is an easy trick here. Just have a look at the RHS. Depending upon that, which law is appropriate that you need to apply. That you have to apply. Fine. Okay. So I suggest you, if you couldn't able to solve it, okay, don't look at the board. Don't look at the board now. Okay, so try to solve it again. Okay, so take the paper and pen. Try to solve this again. So today I'll just end with this problem. Fine. Or should I solve more problems? Okay. So anyhow, but this last problem, definitely I suggest you. Okay, so try to solve this again, because there are so many new things that you will be learning in this problem, because you are applying the De Morgan's law in the reverse way, and you are applying the formula, that is the conditional law, okay, in the reverse way. Okay, so you are applying so many formulas here. Fine. So I suggest you only this problem, solve it again. You will learn many things here. Fine. Okay, students. So anyhow, so is this method is 100% okay for you? No issues? Okay, fine then. So tomorrow I'll just start with the module number 3. Actually, out of all the modules, actually, module 3 is the biggest one, and trust me, it is more interesting. Module 3 it will be, it won't bore you. Actually, it is it's good actually. So you'll be studying about the relations, functions. I think few of the topics you would have already read in your PUC. Okay, like 11th and 12th standard, like different types of functions. That is onto function, one-to-one function, right? So we have even different relation types, that is symmetric relation, transitive relation, reflexive. Most of the concepts you would have already studied. So even if you don't have any idea, also no issues, don't worry. Okay, I'll just start from scratch. You can understand. And one more important thing is this is the only module. Module number 3 is the only thing which has more theorems. And for that reason, if you study directly from the textbook, actually those theorems you cannot understand. For that reason, I have written the notes. Okay, only for module number 3 and module number 2, I have written the notes. But for this kind of problems, for this kind of modules and all, I have not written the notes, because if I write the notes, what will happen? No, the students they will ask like, sir, if I study these notes, is it sufficient? Like that they will ask. So I cannot answer, and they will ask like, sir, will I get the questions in the exam from the same notes? I cannot tell that. Okay, so just I can teach you the methods. So using that methods, whatever the problems that they will give, so you should be able to solve. Okay, for module number 1, module number 4, and module number 5, I suggest you take any textbook. Okay, Grimaldi is fine. Grimaldi is a prescribed textbook, or you can use even DSC or KSC. Try to solve all the worked examples and exercise problems, and blindly don't solve all the problems. Okay, see, actually, when you see the textbook, before you solve any problem, I sincerely suggest you to go with the question papers, at least some 5 to 6 years question papers. If you see, you will get the priorities. Actually, so which type of questions they have asked most, what is the type of questions that might occur in the exam most frequently. These things are very much important. Okay, so blindly don't solve each and every problem. Don't do like that. Just refer to the previous question papers, then you will get some fair idea. Okay, so after that, you try to solve as you only get to know which are the important topics. So based on that, you can proceed. And one more thing, in each module, previously it was like, for example, in the module 1 only. Okay, so what you have here is mathematical logic 1, mathematical logic 2, and even in the module 3, what we have here, what we have the topics is relations and functions. Previously, what they used to do now, all the questions from the relations they will give in one question. All the questions from the functions they used to give in one question. But now, from over a couple of years or 3 4 years, what they are doing is they are just merging everything. So if you study mathematical logic 1, and if you think that I could able to solve one complete question, no, it won't happen. Okay, because they will merge the questions. So you cannot skip any topic, but you cannot skip any chapter. But the thing is, topic of course you can skip, because in module 1, if you see, in the first question you will be having A, B, C, and in the second question you will be having A, B, C. Okay, even if you merge, okay, even if you merge also, at most 1 or 2 topics, actually, if you feel that it is difficult, definitely you can skip it. Okay, so like for example, at most 1 or 2 topics you can skip from each module, but the entire chapter you cannot skip. Fine. So anyhow, those kind of tricks I'll just teach you after a few classes. Fine. Okay. Shall we end today? Okay, students, fine. Thank you. You can log out now.